We're just prepping for a live today, a Whatnot live. So Christian's going to do that. I'm going to start the video, and when he's good, he's going to chime in. Cold opens, baby. What is up, Watch fam? My name is Michael. I am not the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop, but the curator.
That's me, baby.
He's currently curating in front of your eyes right now.
I'm dealing with a sick vintage Hamilton. Super cool watch.
Yeah.
These were like, Vietnam era watches. I'm a big fan.
I photographed that. It's a beautiful watch. Also, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you are in need of a website or domain, head to squarespace.com/Theo Harris to save 10% off your first order. Anyways, today, what's great is actually I can do this whole setup until you're ready, because we're not actually going to get your opinion on this
I'm a
till the end.
multitasker, baby.
Dude, anything you need is not a big deal. I'm not going to get your opinion until the very end here, but the question is, should you buy a Rolex right now? We've done this video prior, but Hodinkee actually... Logan Baker wrote an article where he interviewed people in the watch world with that very question. So I'm going to give that information, and then Christian and I will have a discussion, because there is one big catch to that article that obviously is probably pretty blaring, but we'll get into that in a bit. We're also going to talk about, we just went out and did a little party with Oris.
That was fun stuff.
Yeah, we grabbed trash from oysters right out their mouths. A ton of fun. A lot of fun.
I'm a big oyster fan. I'm not big. I'm a big oyster fan. I'm a big Bulova fan. A Bulova. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm a big Oris fan.
Big Oris fan. We'll talk about this later, but there's something about when the CEO of Oris, in his Swiss accent, explains that he grew up on a farm eating fresh vegetables, and I'm like, I'll buy an Oris.
This makes sense. I'm in.
I'm in.
Yeah. We're talking about like getting to the bottom of their like sustainability initiatives, like trying to figure out, where was this born? Is it a real initiative you guys are doing? Is it just something that you're doing for marketing? Like, do you actually believe in it, or is it just another company throwing some money at a charity? And they really believe in it.
They do. It's insane. And then also, I didn't tell you this yet, but I bought 2 Seikos as a gift. Remember I was going to get those Omegas from you? Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I'll talk about those Seikos. They're pretty cool. And there's one thing that we'll talk about too. I'm wearing a Seiko rowing blazer, which we'll talk about. But after that, finally, after I lay the land on this Rolex information, we'll get into our opinions on should you buy a Rolex right now, what's happening in the market, and so on and so forth.
So on and so forth. Go on and conquer. I'm wearing a Breguet.
Oh.
Michael and I are going to be bringing back a little bit of in the metal, maybe once a month. Something, in the metal, basically. Be a little bit, fun. Show some cool B-roll, like kind of following me around for like 30 minutes. And, I love changing my watches, so it's going to be like changing my watches. Going from my Breguet or going to Universal Genève to going to a Cartier or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And just, seeing, how with one look... what watches look right and what watches don't look right and what watches make me feel what. You know what I mean? Like how they pass through my head. So anyway, very exciting stuff.
I meant to compliment your shirt today, by the way.
Go figure.
Okay, so like I said, there's an article on Hodinkee interviewing a bunch of people about what the market's doing.
Yeah.
These are people from Phillips, all that. So I'm just going to give you a summation or a summary of the article.
Yeah.
And then we'll cut there.
Yep.
I'll get one word of yes or no, do you agree?
Yep.
And then we'll pick it up at the end.
Got it.
Okay, so there's an article that says basically the watch world, the last time there was a big economic downturn was 2008, housing crisis, and there was steadily around 300 bidders in the luxury watch world market going to these events. Now there is 10,000. So that is a big kind of security blanket for all these people that are being interviewed, being like, the market is so much bigger. We're not really too worried. We're not worried like we were before. We think there's always going to be people investing.
Right.
Or buying watches. I shouldn't even say investing, because Paul Boutros, head of America Phillips Watches, says what they notice with people that are buying watches at their auctions is they're not leveraging themselves. They're not over-leveraging. They're not taking out loans. These are people with disposable income, which is another sign of a safe market. Lucky
Strike used to say that all dentists recommend you smoke their cigarettes.
That is the biggest catch at the end of this, before we get into the bigger discussion. We don't have speculative buyers. People don't take out loans to buy our watches. Eric Wind.
Like, how would you know that, Paul?
But wait, no way of knowing
that. You could take a line of credit, put it in a bank account. I mean, and
you have the money.
Your financial
we'll save this to the end, because
background
that's the big thing. That's the big thing.
I mean, come on, it's ridiculous thing to say.
It's going to be a good discussion. Eric Wind, shout out to Theo and Harris Watch Shop. He didn't give one, but he says, I have 3 words for you. Condition, condition, condition. Any great condition watch is going to hold its value. With Rolex, for example, we're seeing great unpolished 34mm and 36mm Oyster Perpetuals, date just, and Oyster dates. That's the area of the watch world that will soften less.
Again, like, what do you want? You're responding now?
No. I'm just giving a shout out to the Theon Harris Watch Shop, where you can get a plethora of 30.
Of great.
What do you want me to say? I'm
I'll react right now.
Don't react
right now.
I knew this was going to steam you up so bad. The final point being, before we get into that at the end, these are all people that are invested in the market. Of course it's not going to go down. What are you guys talking about? Why would anything be less than record sale?
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll get into that. I'll let you take the wheels because I know. I'll even reread you things so your blood pressure goes back up.
Yeah. My blood, I'm feeling it right in my right now, because obviously the higher your blood pressure gets, the higher you feel it in your face.
Yeah.
I feel it below my eyes but above my nose right now. And I'm feeling, when we get back into it, I'm going to feel it kind of around my temple, and we're going to get higher from
It's
there.
comical. And Hodinky wrote about it. Obviously, we're in the watch market too, but it's like, you can't be, you have to be honest. Oris did a collaboration with the Billion Oyster Project, and they ended up with a new Oris Aquis with a mother of pearl dial that is sliced so thin, they put a colored background behind it, and the mother of pearl dial takes that color. So that's beautiful.
Super cool watch.
Oh my God. And seeing people with bronze is obviously a huge thing with Oris. Seeing people with actual patinaed bronze watches walk around, I was like, okay, that is a pretty cool watch.
That was pretty cool. I like, patinaed bronze, patinated bronze. And as far as Billion Oyster Project goes, it was really cool. I eat oysters all the time. I'm having a big oyster dinner tomorrow night, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And yet I really didn't know anything about oysters. I didn't know what they did for the ecosystem, the water. I really didn't know what New York Harbor used to be like. The one thing I will say, I don't know if you were, I guess you were there for some of this.
Yeah.
Yes, in its natural state, the New York Harbor and many other places were like beautiful and flourishing.
Yep.
And then, humans coming in, did make it worse. I just don't like the narrative that humans ruined everything, because net, it was actually a tremendous positive for society. Fewer people are dying of poverty every year. Fewer people are starving to death every year. The fact that we have been able to transport food, that we've been able to grow our economies and become healthy societies.
Right.
Net, yes, oysters suffered, but net, we are at a positive. Okay. I hate this anti-human thing. I'm getting political now. I hate this anti-human thing that goes around. It's very annoying. Everything was great till humans arrived. Not true. Things were actually pretty bad.
Oysters had no money.
Humans got smarter.
Oysters had to sell their pearls.
Yeah. That being said, huge fan of Billion Oyster. Objectively, what they're doing is incredible. I really love it. I think that now, from a position of security and safety as a society, as a large society, I think it is imperative that, like New York, that we begin to, not just make it a net positive, but to pick up the pieces where they were dropped. So and Oris embodied that. The whole idea was inclusive luxury, right? Rolf, the CEO of Oris, said, 10 years ago, your luxury experience was going into a watch boutique, having a glass of champagne, and buying a watch, kind of get your balls tickled to buy a watch.
Yeah.
Now he's seeing, right, and he goes himself, he's seeing people from all over the world.
We saw it. We were with them.
Yeah. Meet up at beaches and to do cleanups and to do environmental initiatives, and with Oris. And I think that's incredible, right? The whole idea of luxury has changed a little bit. And when people, use buzzwords and bullshit things like recycled gold, for instance, it's like, okay, shut up. Now you're playing environmentally conscious. You're not really doing it. It's baloney. It's brand speak. But with stuff like this, they actually are doing it. So I think it's terrific. I'm a fan. That was my full-winded thought.
Last question. Yeah. Do you believe in the free market? Absolutely not. Okay, real quick. Back to Oris chat. When I said it as a joke, obviously, hearing a Swiss CEO talk about their watches, it's very entrancing. But also, in a much more serious note, we both saw in the flesh, I guess for the first time, I really spent a lot of time with the Pro Pilot X.
Oh, fantastic.
The titanium watch.
39mm, the new one.
Yeah.
39mm, 3 different dial colors, blue, gray, and peach.
And titanium.
Fantastic.
It's a literal feather. Rolf, the CEO, wore one, and it is
super attractive, gorgeous watch. The buckle, the clasp is like a airplane seat belt. That's how they designed it.
It's fantastic.
Incredibly cool watch.
Oh my God.
Just over $4,000, I think $4,100.
Yep.
Like one of the coolest watches under $6,000.
Agreed.
On the market. Period.
Oh yeah,
and for
true.
that matter, $6,500.
A full integration of watch technology, material, movement, 70-hour power reserve, the double barrels. It's insane. Anyways, last thing on this Oris chat before we get to the Seiko gifts is this. I just want to show you this real quick. You've probably seen it already. The Oris X Sun Wukong collaboration.
No, I've never seen
This is a $27,000 watch from
Get
Oris.
out of
This
town.
is an enamel dial.
Enamel dial,
Aquas.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic.
I love enamel dials. I don't know, obviously, who bought that watch. It must be a very special, Oris fan. It's a
You
lot
have
of
to
money
be a
for
hell
an
of an
Oris.
Oris fan, yeah.
But incredibly cool.
I wish they didn't make that $27,000 because I would love to get one of these. It's art, but I see why. I'm like, oh, okay. And they made 70, like you say, it's gone before it hits the shelves. Like people buy it, it's given to people like the best customers, but still, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, I'm a huge enamel dial fan.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, if I had to have one watch, period, it would probably be something like a Patek Calatrava.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be Patek. Could be basically anything. That style though, with an enamel dial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like and not and not like cream enamel. I mean colorful enamel.
Yeah,
Like to have
yeah.
one
Different
watch,
pieces.
period.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like those old those old ones from the 50s. That was prime cool. You know what I mean? I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And they still do stuff like that. They're larger, obviously, but they still do enamel
thing,
dials.
most of them
You
are-
just can't get them.
And they're usually now complicated, bigger, wider. And it's like, well, I like the little like touch there, not the
Yes.
excessive use.
Well, even look at the old Patek Calatravas, the '96. Those watches are like 32 millimeters.
Yeah.
that was class at one point.
Yeah.
Now it's like a baby watch. I still love them. I wear baby watches.
Yeah.
But those watches were incredible, and they were thick, like little bubbles in your wrist, like little precious bubbles,
Little bubbles.
little precious time
Little
bubbles.
blows of gold bubbles.
Yeah.
Patek Philippe.
Remember when you used to blow bubbles as a kid?
Do I remember when I used to blow bubbles?
Yeah. I ran into him the other day at the supermarket. He says hello.
You know who this video is sponsored by?
Oh, our friends over at Squarespace.
Yeah, if you need a website or domain, which you probably do. Unless you already have one, you probably need one.
Yeah, my entire point here is, as someone who had to start their own company and was good at, like most people, you're lucky to be good at one or two things. And that was definitely me. And web development was not one of them. I also didn't have a tremendous corporate budget or even a small startup budget. I had like no budget at all. Right. So I needed to basically figure out how to develop a website basically on, my lonesome. And Squarespace was a fantastic tool, the only tool for me. I did try some competitors and was very disgruntled. And Squarespace was far, far better. Since we've been recommending Squarespace, we've had several Theo and Harris fans and followers say, hey, by the way, I'd like you to know that I started my website. I finally took the plunge and started my website with Squarespace because of you guys.
Wow.
Right? Because, not just as a company or a retail store, but as an independent creative, as someone who wants to send their resume out, this is far more engaging than a LinkedIn profile. If you are taking yourself seriously as a freelancer or as a creator or as an artist, you've got to have your own website. Something short and sweet and concise and attractive, something that communicates your value quickly but effectively. LinkedIn, it's there, but I don't really want to read it. LinkedIn's for creeping. I'm going to creep on what you've been doing on LinkedIn, which I don't do, but one would do.
I can't stand
on
LinkedIn.
your Squarespace, on your website, you're going to say, wow, this person's actually really cool.
It's like you built your own house versus everybody's renting like one giant apartment yelling at you.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, you're taking this seriously, and I'm more likely to hire you if you're taking yourself more seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a huge Squarespace fan, tremendous advocate, and that's it.
So if you want a website or domain, head to squarespace.com/Theo Harris and use our code Theo Harris for 10% off checkout.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby. Seiko.
Oh,
Oh, baby.
Why? Why didn't you save this for an episode where I wasn't here?
I didn't.
Like
who
when I'm
knows
traveling.
when you're coming anymore?
Oh my god.
Gallivanting across the world. So, Seiko, the wonderful world of Seiko. This I am wearing right now is Seiko 5 collaboration with Rowan Blazers. Interesting thing that I assume you don't know, the SKX, you know the SKX. Seiko discontinued it and then basically took the case.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, but wait for this. No. Hold that excitement, dude. They took the case.
Yeah.
They have the water resistance. They took away the screw down crown. The SKX was famous to be like the entry-level dive watch for professionals. They completely slaughtered that, and then they released this, the Seiko 5, in about 40 to 50 variations, color variations, and just blew that up. So that's what you have right here. Crown doesn't lock, 100 meters water resistance. It's a shell of what it used to be, essentially. So then I am doing something, I can't really talk about it too much, but I am buying 2 people gifts as a thank you for doing business with me. And I can't get them this because I feel like it's really annoying. They're both watch fans. I know they don't have the watch, but I would have gotten them SKXs as a thank you because that's like a great watch. It's not too expensive, and it also lines up with a lot of things that doesn't exist anymore. So I got them these watches from the Prospects line, 38.5 millimeters, small watches, solar, so they're solar quartz, no batteries, there's a capacitor, but I think they're pretty great.
Yeah, it's a cool watch.
End of segment.
I mean, the Smurf is cool. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, what do you want me to say?
What do you think?
They're cool. I think it was. I like it because you gave it to me. No, I like it because it's a nice gift. It's a nice gift. It's thoughtful. It's a good watch. It's a watch I recommend for other watches.
Hold on, let me go get the gun over here.
I mean, I don't know why.
Because some people have an appreciation for watches and not money. And you have one of the two. This is to all the people that like watches. This is to the pics out there that are like, that is a cool watch.
That is a great watch. Nah, I don't.
You don't like it?
No, it's cool. It's cool. And for a million people, that's great. It just doesn't interest me.
Oh my god.
Okay, you know what interests me? Here, you want to talk about a Seiko? No, that's a Universal Genève. There's a Seiko here. This interests me. You know why? It's a Seiko.
Because you're cheap and you can get a good flip on it.
Not an expensive watch. No, it's because it looks like a big Cartier Tank Louis Jumbo, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's cool to me.
Sure.
It's a matter of the style as well.
Yeah.
I like this watch. I would wear this watch all the time.
Yeah.
Right? I would give this watch to a friend. So this isn't a matter of not... And this is a lesser watch. This isn't even solar. This is a battery watch.
Ugh.
That's at least solar.
Right.
That's cool. That's way cooler.
Right.
I don't even like subs, really. So you're pitching me something that I'm never going to buy. I'd give this to my dad. I would give this to anybody.
Wow.
I'd be like, yo, you love Cartier, but Cartiers are really expensive. You don't love them that much. You don't love them $8,000 worth.
You'll never wear it.
How about for $500?
Yeah.
Here it is. Here's a gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of me being totally like an elitist about it. It's a matter of even on a level of taste and style, you have none. No. A matter of just style, it just doesn't speak to me. That's really what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The 2 guys that I'm giving these watches to,
Yeah.
huge TNH fans. I can't wait till they watch that segment, and then I have to give them the watch. Here you go.
Give them a different watch.
They're like, oh.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, I look ridiculous constantly. I mean,
Yeah.
I wear, oftentimes very silly things that people laugh and giggle at.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think that don't follow my style. Right now I'm wearing something very innocuous.
Well, yeah.
Right now I'm wearing a tamed regular person outfit.
Of course.
But that's I wear old man watches and fuzzy slippers and I mumble outside in the street and I just walk.
You do, yeah. Don't react yet. Quick refresher.
Yeah.
I won't be naming names. Bidders went from 300 people to 10,000 people. Certain areas will soften.
You already
but
named
others...
names.
Well, now that people probably forgot it by now. 300 bidders to 10,000. Certain areas will soften. Funny enough, though, Patek, AP, Rolex, all the brands that they sell or are bidding will not soften. We don't have speculative buyers. Watch investing is only with people, or mostly with people with disposable income. And those are people that work in the industry. So, tell me what you think.
I mean, one by one. To say we don't have speculative buyers, I don't think you need to run a research poll to understand anecdotally that is incredibly untrue.
Especially in a market that expanded this much. You probably, if you got 10,000 people now, you have 8,000 speculative buyers.
Oh my God.
100%.
And if you have 10,000 new buyers, you probably have 9,200 speculative buyers.
Oh my God, yeah.
So yeah, I think that's absolutely incorrect. I think that a majority of the buyers are speculative. I think that a majority of the buyers are going to be very disappointed to find out that the watches that they bought may be worth 10 or 20% less than they paid. I think that will only, fester like a sore and then run, you know.
I think
that will be
panic.
really bad. Yeah,
I think
people
it'd be
are gonna
panic.
be disgusted, and maybe they won't be watch folks anymore. People made a lot of money doing this, meaning pumping this up.
Yeah, for sure.
There is still tremendous value in watches. Depends on the micro markets we're talking about. We've done talks before about certain Patek markets, certain Cartier markets. So, and then the thing about condition, with Eric Wynn talking about condition, he's right. Condition is always a true north, right? When you're buying condition, it's like if you're gonna overpay, at least you bought quality.
At least
and
you bought
quality
an amazing,
lasts the test of time. It's the same thing
Right.
with real estate. It's the same thing with automobiles. It's the same thing with anything. Right? Because if you're buying a high quality item in any of those markets, ultimately that item will be, in theory, the last to suffer, the run on the bank. There will always be buyers that still do want that because it's the best one. Right? There may not be buyers for GMTs, but there will always be buyers for great GMTs. That being said, saying buy condition. I mean, it's not as simple as that. It's very much so about price. I have seen, for example, I don't know how long ago it was now, 5 years ago, when Paul Newmans were on a run then, and then they crashed. People were saying, Paul Newman, buy Paul Newman.
Yep.
Nobody really understood how rare or unrare how rare or common Paul Newmans were.
But they did understand the one that was Paul Newman's
exactly.
exploded.
And that was coming later. It got even worse then.
Oh, okay.
But there were so many different references of Paul Newman. Right. So people were saying, so buy Paul Newman and buy quality, if you want to go that far. Okay, great. People were not considering the rarity. People weren't considering, just the overall desirability. And desirability is a combination of rarity, it's condition, it's a combination of cultural relevance. Paul Newman's reference will always be more it's just all these different variables.
It's nuanced.
All these different nuances. Yes, I agree. And any dealer that tells you to buy condition is correct. That's a fantastic piece of advice. If you're a real watch person, you'll never regret buying condition. That being said, so far as investment advice is concerned, it's a little bit too short. It's too short-winded. I don't think that watch investment advice is that short-winded. I believe very strongly, like many folks, in the vintage Cartier market. I'm not just going to tell you to go buy great condition vintage Cartier because I don't know what you're paying. I think the best thing you can do, and any dealer would agree, and Eric being one of them, it's obviously very important to do your research. What are other people offering? I can't tell you how many times I got saved by the skin of my getting offered a watch, going online, reference checking it on Chrono, saying, okay, this looks like a pretty good price, offering it to other dealers as if it were mine, saying, hey, hey, what do we think about this? What are we paying? And guys would tell me 30% less than I was being offered for. And I say, okay, well, maybe they're wrong, but I'm glad I know what they're talking about. I'm glad I know that they feel that this is worth 30% less.
Yeah, the market movers of the watch industry think this, right?
So, and I see that stuff all the time. So that's kind of my takeaway point is, of course, buy condition, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get hurt. Guys bought, I'm sorry, I'm being a tangent now, but 5711s, right? It's a good example. Platinum Daytonas, good example. The rose gold green dial day dates, right? All the same, right? People were talking about two things. One, condition, and two, date, right? They wanted the most recent example, even though I don't understand why a 2022 is better than a 2020. I don't understand why that's better.
Right.
But they want the most recent example and they want the best condition. Great. I agree with that. That's fine. Condition's key. But when you're paying a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 premium for that date or for that fact that it wasn't worn ever and you're going to tend to wear it, is that really the best advice?
Yeah, right.
Is that really it? Depends on the buyer. Are you going to put stuff in a safe and never look at it again, and you're going to own that in the condition it's in? Or if it's a 5711, which is a scratch magnet, are you going to go on and turn a 10 out of 10 into an 8 out of 10? And if that's the case, why didn't you just buy an 8 out of 10 to begin with?
Yeah, right.
Because going from an 8 to a 6 or an 8 to a 5, it's more difficult.
Right.
It's just those surface
level
scratches.
It's the initial starts and scratches. Yeah, of course.
Big deal.
Yeah.
A car with 3,000 miles is a lot different than a car with 0 miles. A car with 6,000 and 3,000 are the same.
Right.
you know, so, you know, relatively speaking.
Yeah, of course.
So that's it. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
listen, it's in everyone's best interest in the watch industry, basically, for prices to steadily rise and to be safe and not be volatile, but to rise. That being said, don't, you know, tell me that most buyers aren't speculative. I think you're lying.
This is one of those things where it's like watch blogs, and including us to a certain degree, but like watch blogs that are serving and talking to watch auction houses that are then talking to watch brands are all like chained armed, being like, everything looks fantastic. We haven't seen like a single sign of like anything.
Yeah, come on.
I think it's to be expected that it's going down. So the question is, do you go to auctions now and buy stuff? Do you wait?
I think that, you know, again, I'm no financial
This
expert.
this is just, you know, discussion.
But my gut says if you're about to buy auction quality watches, I would say wait. People. When I say people, I mean people you pass in the street, people that you, in theory, admire, and common sense a little bit also says that we're probably on the brink of a financial little
skitsy ditsy here.
Skitsy ditsy.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, and I think that is probably a safe bet,
I would agree.
Then I think that you're going to do very well if you have cash. If you have cash, then yeah, I mean, buying watches in a couple of months is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
That being said, the problem, as I've always said, with buying watches as an investment is they can be a terrific investment, right? But if you develop emotional connections to them, they are a terrible investment.
Right.
Because even if you realize $50,000, $100,000 in value, in profit, you're never going to realize it. It's a loss. It's a loss. You spent 60. You didn't make 100. You spent 60.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the other thing, you know. So, you know, will there be great opportunities in watches? Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Will there be great opportunities anywhere when blood is in the water? Of course. It's not going to be unique. That being said, I still believe in watches tremendously.
Of course.
I have invested a ton of my money into watches. You know, I put my money where my mouth is. But I just don't pretend as if there aren't problems in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if a brand like Hodinkee reaches out to your auction house and says, like, what do you think's happening? That's a sign that things might be moving. And I think if you go on another watch blog, which I did to read about, and someone else is writing about the macroeconomic climate affecting the watch world, I think there's a lot of signs that, like, yeah, things are probably going to go down a little bit, and get ready or look around and see what's happening. Yeah. But don't take the word from the dealer's mouth that everything's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of silly. I mean, I don't blame them, you know, but
yeah.
If they asked me to be quoted, I mean, I probably wouldn't have gotten published because I would have said something kind of negative.
It's going down, baby.
Yeah, it's going down, down.
Christian sang on the phone for 5 minutes throughout the song, kept saying, remember that song? You know that song? Who is it by? Hold on, I'll play it on my phone.
Hold on, wait.
Hold
Who's
on.
it by? Remember this song?
Do you guys forget that song?
Hysterical.
Anyways.
That's what's up, yeah.
That's what's up, dude.
Going on.
Yeah.